Oh, wow.
Chris Eubank Jr. just broke the internet, and he didn't even have to throw a punch. That haunting image of him wrapped in heat sheets, towel over his face, body broken, soul tested. It hit harder than any knockout ever could. And just like that, the same voices that hyped this fight are now calling him soft. Let's be real. This isn't weakness. This is war. This is the price of
missed weight. Can we stop with the fucking narrative of it's tough? It's tough. It's tough for everybody.
Sacrifice when the cameras are still rolling, but the world has already turned its back. Now Eddie Hearn is out here trying to spin a missed weigh-in into a full-blown drama, acting like it's the nail in Eubank's coffin. But let's not get it twisted. Missing weight doesn't define a fighter's career. Heart, will, and resilience do. And while Hearn's busy smashing the panic button, Eubank Jr. is already locked in on the bigger picture. Chris Eubank Jr. didn't survive the trenches of boxing to let one moment hold him back. He's fought through worse and still stands tall, while Conor Benn...
This process, this 48 hours, is very hard for Eubank. And then tomorrow night, it's going to be very hard for my men, in there having a fight with a much bigger man.
...is grasping for any excuse to distract from his own cracks. Ben might think throwing shade gives him an edge, but it only exposes his own insecurities. The truth? Eubank Jr. is still grinding, still fighting, and still destined to come out on top. Eddie Hearn claims these 48 hours are a nightmare for Eubank, but history tells a different story. Eubank thrives under pressure. Hearn can talk about how tough it's going to be for him to fight a bigger man, but pressure doesn't break Eubank Jr. It sharpens him. Hearn's making a mountain out of a molehill. Meanwhile,
It's unfortunate that he's not made weight. It poses no advantage whatsoever, 0.5 of a pound. I just know how hard it is for him would have been to get that off. He can't. His body's gone into shut.
Eubank's been climbing real mountains for years. Ben, on the other hand, is lurking in the shadows, praying for a misstep. But Eubank isn't worried about the noise. He's locked in, focused, and ready to deliver when it matters most. If you're still here, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because we're only getting started. As the heat intensifies, Tony Bellew weighed in with his brutally honest thoughts on the saga. Bellew didn't sugarcoat a thing. Missing weight by just 0.5 pounds?
So who can handle the pressure and who's a better boxer? And that's Chris Eubank Jr. every day of the week, and I cannot wait to put this to bed on Saturday night.
It offers zero advantage. In Bellew's eyes, the real story is the absolute agony Eubank Jr. must have endured trying to shed that last ounce. His body wasn't just tired. It had completely shut down. No amount of grit or miracle could save him at that point. Bellew makes it clear, this isn't about laziness or a lack of discipline. It's about the brutal realities of what fighters endure to make weight. Eubank fought until there was simply nothing left, and that speaks volumes about his warrior spirit. Meanwhile, Ben Shalom comes out swinging, throwing his full support behind Eubank Jr. Shalom isn't just backing him, he's doubling down.
I don't agree with realization clauses. I don't agree with I don't agree with bringing this fella down at 35 years of age and saying you must weigh this on the day. After missing the...
Making it clear that when it comes to handling pressure and showcasing pure boxing skill, Chris Eubank Jr. stands head and shoulders above the rest. For Shalom, Saturday night isn't just another payday. It's a statement, a chance to end the noise once and for all and show the world exactly who the superior fighter is, and he's not alone. Dave Allan shares the same fiery confidence. Together, they're betting it all on Chris Eubank Jr. to rise above the chaos, silence the doubters, and prove once again why true greatness can't be measured by a scale. Dave Allan isn't holding back when it comes to the controversy surrounding...
If I'm supposed to look scared or intimidated or, I'm neither. And I'm just looking forward to Saturday night. We're here.
Chris Eubank Jr.'s weight and hydration clauses. Allan is furious about the conditions being forced on the 35-year-old veteran, criticizing the dangerous demand to cut excessive weight and then undergo strict daylight weigh-ins. For Allan, this isn't about missing the weight by a fraction. It's about wrecking a fighter's body purely for an unfair advantage. In his eyes, it's a disgraceful tactic that has no place in true boxing, where skill and heart should determine the winner, not pre-fight sabotage. Eubank Jr., now visibly drained and vulnerable, faces a daunting task as Conor Benn circles like a shark smelling blood. Benn, fueled by ruthless ambition,
shows you there is what 99% of fighters do to make weight, and as I said, he's made it the last 4 or 5 fights, the 160 limit, so he knows what he has to do to make that weight.
Ambition stands completely unfazed amidst the chaos. Intense weigh-in drama doesn't rattle him. Fear and intimidation don't exist in his vocabulary. His calm, cold demeanor only underlines the danger he brings to the ring. There's no hesitation, no second-guessing, only a brutal, focused hunger to make a statement. As the tension thickens heading into Saturday night, Benn remains locked in, looking straight through the distractions and noise. For him, it's simple. No fear, no retreat, only war when the bell rings. His unwavering confidence mirrors that of his trainer, Tony Sims, who stands fully behind Benn's mentality and preparation.
Fighters, when it's come to the jumping of weights between welterweights to middleweights, it's never really fared well. But it's fared well for a couple guys.
Sims believes Benn will not only show no fear, but also silence his critics with his performance. Tony Sims strongly defends Benn's weight-making process, arguing that what Benn does to hit the mark is no different from what 99% of fighters endure. He highlights that Benn has successfully made the 160-pound limit in his last 4 or 5 fights, showing consistency and discipline. According to Sims, Benn's routine is nothing unusual or alarming. He knows exactly what's required and has prepared accordingly. Sims remains adamant that despite the controversy, Benn's preparation and commitment will allow him to perform at his absolute best when it matters most. Meanwhile, boxing analyst Spencer Fearon, referred to as Fearon in some accounts, offers a more cautious perspective. While he agrees that Benn's weight management shouldn't be heavily criticized, he points out the risks tied to jumping from welterweight to middleweight. Historically, such drastic weight class transitions have not always ended well for fighters. Fearon notes that while some athletes manage the shift successfully, many struggle with key challenges, losing speed, reduced endurance, and the difficulty of adapting to stronger, more physically imposing opponents. Fearon stresses that moving up in weight is far from a simple adjustment. It demands meticulous preparation, physical adaptation, and sometimes even a reworking of a fighter's natural style. Although he acknowledges that Benn could be an exception, the odds, historically speaking, are not favorable. Many fighters who have dared to jump multiple weight classes have seen their careers stall or decline. As fight night approaches, the spotlight intensifies on Conor Benn. His decision to take on a bigger, more experienced Chris Eubank Jr. has raised serious doubts and curiosity about how he will handle the physical demands. Will his fierce self-belief and meticulous preparation be enough to conquer the risks that come with such a bold move? The answers will come soon enough inside the ring. For more fight breakdowns, analysis, and updates, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.